Everyone knows who The Rock is. Like, have you ever heard anyone go, The Rock? That's my favorite celebrity. No, those people don't exist. And if you find proof of one, I will close my ears and stick my head in the sand. Fuck you, I don't want to live in a world where The Rock is somebody's favorite. Now, The Rock's career is genuinely impressive. He comes from a wrestling family. Like, his dad is Rocky Johnson, who was part of the first black tag team to ever get a championship in the WWE. And then his mother is the adoptive daughter of Peter Maivia. I don't think I pronounced that right, but that's what it spelled like. Was a Samoan American professional wrestler. And the story of him growing up, going from like college football to pro wrestling to literally one of the biggest movie stars like in the world is a really interesting story. But to be honest, I don't give a fuck about that shit. Because what I want to talk about today is how, like, The Rock just sucks lately. I remember liking him a lot when I was younger, but at least since like 2017, his movie's been consistently ass. And every single time I see him in something, he just gives off really weird vibes. So I wanted to figure out what's going on. And first, he's going to touch on his movies. Now, I don't like his movies personally. And for this video, I had to watch quite a bit of them. So I have some things to say. Now, first, I did not watch the Fast and Furious shit because it was like 4 movies till he joined the series. And then there was a bunch of movies after. And there was that one like Hobbs and Shaw spinoff thing. And I was like, I don't want to watch an additional like 12 bajillion movies for this. So maybe he's like the best actor ever in those movies or whatever. But today we're gonna be touching on everything like but that. So let's go into the reasons why his movies suck recently. The plots fucking suck. So like, look at Jumanji, right? Jumanji is a very popular movie that has a spin-off of its own, which is really cool. It's like space themed. But the original movie, it's not just a fun movie and a fun concept, a fun premise. It's carried by the emotional beats of the fucking movie, of the like conflict resolution between like siblings and like this. It's just a really good movie with a lot of really good themes. Now, what is the modern narration of that? Bullshit, like references and bad jokes on top of like completely diluting the entire like emotional themes of the original just to be a very vapid reboot. And the plot was also uninteresting because they don't make any emotional like tries anything, like they do like a romance thing or whatever. It's just not interesting to me, at least. And then we go into like the Red Notice. Red Notice is a movie he was in. It's the 2021 movie he was in with Ryan Reynolds. And you would think with The Rock, the most followed man on Instagram in America, and Ryan Reynolds, again, another huge movie star. These 2 huge movie stars, you think people would have talked about that movie more. You think would have had a cultural impact in the slightest, but it didn't. It didn't. Because it's fucking forgettable. It's so fucking boring. It's just Ryan Reynolds and The Rock being Ryan Reynolds and The Rock. And there's like supposed to be this crazy plot twist, but you can kind of see it coming from like right away. It was just boring and it wasn't super interesting, and it kind of felt derivative because it's just Ryan Reynolds and The Rock playing the same characters they play in everything else. Let's touch on Black Adam. Black Adam fucking sucked. Black Adam was so awful. I would not have watched that movie if I was not making this video. Simple. That movie sucked so much that there was characters introduced that I don't give a fuck about. I was never taught why I should give a fuck about them. The Rock's performance is completely like uninspired. For the amount of like shit he was trying to do that movie, like in terms of behind the scenes, which I'll touch on later, you would think that somehow that movie would be better. Also, make sure to subscribe. What I touched on there a second ago was how like the Ryan Reynolds and Rock or whatever was playing pretty much the same characters they play in everything. The Rock plays the same character in like every single fucking movie. Oh my god. Jumanji is literally The Rock, but he's pretending to be a nerd. And then Jumanji 2 is The Rock, but he's doing a weird accent because he's trying to play Danny DeVito, and it's really bad.
So then what's going on here?
It's not a good like imitation at all. Jungle Cruise, The Rock, but he makes a lot of puns. Like an absurdly amount of puns. Black Adam, The Rock, but he's a bit quiet. He's just more quiet in this one than the other movies. Central Intelligence, The Rock, but he's a loser. Like he's pretending to be a loser. Oh yeah, Red Notice, The Rock, but he's just The Rock. In his recent movies since 2017, The Rock has kind of just played The Rock, but if The Rock was in a slightly different mood each time he like filmed. Because it quite literally is The Rock doing the same Rock stuff, the same Rock mannerisms, the same Rock personality, his characters being like completely like, for the most part, one-dimensional, the same character over and over, except, oh, John Cruise, he likes puns, or he's a little bit more quiet in this one, and it's just like, that's not interesting. But if you go back like a year before 2017, which Moana, I love Moana. I think it's a great fucking movie, and I think The Rock was cast extremely well as Maui, and I think he absolutely crushed that role. I think he did such a good job, not only with that, but also stepping out of his wheelhouse to go fucking sing. Like, that shit was a great movie, and I do think genuinely The Rock like really embodied that role. The problem is that's like the last time he did that shit. Now I have some theories why as 2016 Rock, where he plays Maui and Moana, did a really good job, but then 2017 Rock is starting to make fucking stinkers. It's because he started his fucking production company. His production company, $7 Productions. Dude, oh my god. The Rock, him having creative influence over a project is the first thing you need to know. Like, that movie's just gonna suck ass. It's gonna be uninteresting. He's gonna play the same fucking bland characters. It's gonna play every single move safe. It's gonna be like the most formulaic bullshit that's guaranteed to make like at least a couple million in the box office. It's, oh my god. It's awful because literally every movie now that he's in, it's produced by him. So he has so much creative input. And The Rock is not someone who can fulfill that role and make something interesting. There's multiple reasons. So in his contracts, he has a no loss clause, which just means his characters cannot be seen losing, dying, whatever. So, you know, if you're watching a movie and The Rock is in it, there's not going to be a lot of trials and tribulations for that character. And since he never plays a side character, he's never a cameo, he's always the main character of every story he's in. He'll never take a side role because his ego's too fucking big. Because of that, you know, every movie he's in, since he's the lead role, it's not gonna be fucking interesting because there's not gonna be actual fucking stuff for him to like work over because he's always gonna fucking win. There's not a moment in the story where he can actually lose in order to pick himself back up. It's because he fucking has this like clause in it. And this no loss clause is not just in movies. It seems to be in interviews as well.
Can we do rock, paper, scissors?
Yes.
Rock, paper, scissors. I won.
Well, no, yeah, see, we're supposed to be rock, paper, scissors, go.
Oh, what?
This is cheat. What kind of bullshit?
No, sorry, I just think I won.
You just cheated.
Do you see that face? He's trying to play it off as a joke. That man is heated. He lost rock, paper, scissors. He lost rock, paper, scissors in an interview most of his fans won't see. And he reacted like that. He's like red in the face. He's like red in the face, pissed it. He lost in like public media. What? What? John is so pissed. He lost rock, paper, scissors. We used to be a country. On top of that, he tries to take over movies pretty much. Like, this is a documented thing. So for Black Adams, right? Black Adams is not just a Rock production where it's just about The Rock. It's a larger universe that they was trying to start up their own multiverse, right? So there's a lot of different people. It's not just The Rock show, but The Rock didn't like that. He wants it to be all about him. And so if you look at like this article here, which is like how Dwayne Johnson kneecapped Black Adam and Shazam 2 while trying to take over DC. If you read that, you learn that, oh my god, Shazam 2 was originally supposed to be a different movie entirely that had Shazam as well as Black Adam to play the villain. If you watch Shazam 2, you know that's not the case. And the reason is because Dwayne Johnson argued that, oh, if you have these two characters introduced at the same time, that there won't be enough time in the movie to really highlight both characters and show like their growth character arcs or whatever. Yeah, he pretty much completed G-rolled Shazam 2. So where now you get the two movies now, which ended up both being mid, which is also just a larger problem with DC movies in general. But didn't get help that the original story that they was planning for did not get to be made because The Rock was like, no, the character I will play is gonna be a main character. And that's the thing. He always has to be the main fucking character, and everything has to center around him. He wanted to build up Black Adam, not from being like a Shazam like villain or anti-hero. No, he wanted to build up this entire thing and have like, I guess the climax of the DC universe be Superman versus Black Adam, which I'm not saying you can't do, because if you look at the MCU, Iron Man, who is like one of the most like ubiquitous characters in the entire franchise, and the first Iron Man is the entire reason the MCU exists. But if you look at the popularity of Iron Man before that movie, nobody gave a fuck about him. He was literally like a C-list fucking superhero. He was not an important character in the verse. He was not an important character at all. But then he was now built up to be one of the biggest, most popular superheroes in the entire MCU. That's what this guy, Dwayne the fucking Rock Johnson, was trying to do. But the problem is, Dwayne the Rock Johnson is creatively bankrupt and just derailed everything and made a worse product for everyone involved. And if he's not trying to take over the entire franchise, maybe he would have had more longevity in the DCU, just because he'd be put out of his comfort zone for once in a while, and it would not be the same story with just different elements. And this comes down to, he tries way too hard to play it safe with trying to keep his perfect persona as the guy who never loses, or the entire control over like all the franchises he's in and all that. He just tries to play it safe in everything he does, because he's a walking fucking advertisement for all his like the businesses. I mean, you go to his Instagram, it's just like shouting out this like fitness brand he has, his tequila. A lot of his stuff now seems as just places to help market his other businesses. So like the art is being used as a tool for the product instead of the products being used as a tool to fund the art. Also, this is like a quick aside. It's not a super important thing to this entire narrative, but the thing is, The Rock keeps pretending to go to In-N-Out for the first time, and he's done this like 3 times. So a bit ago, he posted a video, and it's just like him getting In-N-Out, and it's like goes into like in the comments about like how it's his first ever In-N-Out burger experience. And then there's another post where he's like, I've never been to In-N-Out before. The first time he posted himself at In-N-Out, it was 2017. That first video I showed you, 2023. He's been doing this for at least 6 years. At least 6 years, just pretending that he's never been at In-N-Out. I get the marketing, like you have some deal with them, whatever. You promote their thing, they promote your tequila, whatever. I don't. Yeah, you could keep doing that and you would still get engagement because you walk. You don't have to make it this big thing where you go to the In-N-Out for the first time. Who was sitting there waiting at the edge of their seat being like, well, dadgabbit, I guess he never went to In-N-Out before? When the fuck has that ever been said? So another thing too is The Rock's just a weird guy politically, because he tries really hard to get political. If you ever see him in an interview and they get asked about politics, he'll be like, oh, I endorsed Biden once, but that was wrong. I don't want to promote division in this country. I think we need to come together. I think we as Americans just need to come together. And it's like, okay, Americans need to come together. Sure, nice sentiment. That's not a policy, right? And it's fine. He don't have to talk about policies, I guess. He's a celebrity, whatever. But he wants to be the president so fucking bad. Like, for a guy who's like never gives a political stance ever, he really wants to be president. So there was some poll in 2021 where like 46% of Americans would vote for him in the presidential election. To which he then responds saying, oh, it'd be my honor, right? And then he goes on the Noah Trevor's like podcast or whatever to say this.
In 2022, I got a visit from the parties asking me if I was going to run and if I could run.
Wow.
And it was a big deal.
Okay, big deal. In interviews, he gets asked if he wants to be the president. Both political parties came out to him and asked for him to run for the 2024 ballot or whatever. And then on top of that, his show, Young Rock, the entire premise is that in 2032, when he runs for the president of the United States, he takes a comedic look at all of these things in his life. If it's brought up in interview after interview, and he brings up these things all the time, and then his entire show is built around him running for presidency, I think he's trying to prime people to be open to the idea of him running for president. I wonder why. He would just always bring it up. all the time. Make a TV show where that's like a central theme. So why do I think the egocentric Rock don't need to be the president of the United States? Number one, because he never makes a political stance, like ever. Like ever. Until recently, where he goes on Fox News and starts talking about like the woke for a bit.
In today's easy cancel culture world, and cancel culture, woke culture, this culture, that culture, division, etc.
Again, this is him talking about his political views, just talking about like woke culture all of a sudden. I don't think he'd be a great president. And I don't think that's like necessarily me just being like, oh, because the woke thing. Like personally, that don't align with my politics, so I wouldn't vote for him just based off like him saying shit like that. If we take some like American centrist position and just look at The Rock, why the fuck would I want him as president? I don't want an entertainer as president. Unless they have a background in like political activism or something just politics centered. If they've never been in the political limelight ever, like not even doing like protest shit or whatever, I don't want them to be president. I don't also want another rich person to be president. Like a black Samoan who got priced out of Hawaii, like, yeah. Demographically, sounds great as a president. The problem is, it's The Rock. His entire goal in life is just to be well-liked. Because if you look at the way he structures his like no loss clause to never lose, or the way he structures movies always to center on him, so he's always in the spotlight and he's never the side character, anything like that, you just get this picture of someone who wants to be liked by everyone. You hear him talk about like in 2020 when he endorsed President Biden, he's just like, oh, like, I don't like the division, like, that's why I won't do it again this year. And it's just like, oh, to him, the thing was about it was the fact it made some people not like him. It made like right-wingers not like him. The Rock's politics seem to me, an outsider who don't know him, it seems just to be whatever is good for The Rock. That seems to be the entire apparatus he like moves through life with. It's just, if it's good for The Rock, it's good for the world. So yeah, that's the reason I think The Rock is a bit weird. I don't think he's like an objectively bad person, but he's just a weird guy who probably should try and give up control in his life a little bit. That might work out better artistically for him. Anyways, leave a like, subscribe, comment down below, and have a great day.